Hey there everyone, my name's Andrew and this is Canadian Starships. Welcome back to update number 16 on the Enterprise E project. It's been a little bit of a while since we have been working on the Enterprise E project. The Nova class project kind of got stuck in between there and there was a deadline for that, so I had to put all my focus in on that project, but we are back to working on the Enterprise E project. In this update, we are going to complete the scratch-built shuttle bay that's going into this project. It's not going to be very big, there's not going to be a lot of room, there's not going to be a whole lot going on, but it's just going to be that little bit of extra detail that's going into the project that I'm kind of really excited to be working on. So, first thing is creating the basic foundation of the shuttle base. So the plastic parts that are going to make up the structure of this project. Then I'm going to get those kind of plans, those shapes, those dimensions into Inkscape on my computer. I'm going to start to create the decals for that. Then once that's all done, I'm going to assemble the shuttle bay, get the decals installed, then work on how I'm going to get the lighting into it. Once that's done, we'll paint up some shuttles, put them in, and get this whole thing installed, and it should look pretty sweet. So let's get right at it. By the way, if you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, why not hit that subscribe button today? You'll make me very happy if you do. We are almost at 200 subscribers. I am so excited about that. So if you haven't done it yet, click that button now. And just before we get into the project, if you have not checked out my last video, what I found in my parents' attic, go and check that out after you're done watching this one. It's kind of a different show. It shows you everything that I found from my parents' attic when I was young, from the 90s, all my old Star Trek stuff, some old model stuff. You'll see the model box tops behind me on the wall. Make sure that you check that out, but stay here and watch this first. So if you remember, we started our saucer section over again. So everything on the saucer sections are prepped and ready to go as far as the windows and the light blocking on the inside. So we are ready to get working on this shuttle bay. So what I've done here is I have used some paper and traced out the pattern for the structure of the shuttle bay. I've transferred that over to styrene sheet, and I have created the layout that we're going to want for the shuttle bay. So this slides, actually, let's put the clear piece in, which I've just shaved, sanded down a little bit so it goes in a little bit better. All right. Then this piece, which is going to be the floor. Now everything is upside down here. So this is actually the floor area, and it slides in. Let me do it this way so you can see. Slides in here, just behind the shuttle door. Now, the shuttle door is going to be modified because the middle section is going to be removed. So you can see where that shuttle bay is going to be inside there. And if I just turn it this way, you can also see there. So the three larger sections in the middle are going to be removed, and that is going to be one open bay door. So there will be the three smaller panels on each side. So this is going to create the shuttle floor, and then obviously we have some side pieces that go in on the side. They've been sized, obviously, to fit. Kind of like there. Oh, obviously it's not glued in, so you can't really see. And then we've got a back piece that will go on here. Just like that, and that's going to create the interior of the shuttle bay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this, but it's not going to be installed in the ship until the decals are done. So it's essentially going to look something. Okay, let's see. This is starboard. This goes to the back. This goes this way. And this goes on the back, just to give you a bit of an idea. Sorry, it's not staying just sitting here. But I'm going to create some decals. I can just lay it out this way, I guess. And you'll be able to see how it goes. So I'm going to create decals for the floor and for the walls. The ceiling you're not going to be able to see from any vantage point. So I'm going to leave that open as the area that the lighting is going to be installed into. And but we're going to do the floor details, the wall details, and the back details with decals. So it should look nice and crisp. I'm going to have the Enterprise name going across here and some landing zones and different landing markers and stuff. I'm going to have the panels on the wall and some doors and some windows and some things that say like caution, some cautionary areas, probably something that says variable gravity zone, something like that. So this is where it all starts. So I'm working through the logistics of assembling this whole thing, and what I'm discovering is that's going to be a little bit tricky, and let me see if I can just kind of show you what's going on. This is the clear piece, which is the doors of the shuttle bay. I need to remove the inner section, which is going to be fun, and it will sit flush. Those doors will sit flush to the exterior portion of the ship. Now there is just a little bit, I'll show you the back section here, a little bit of a ledge in here. A little bit of a ledge, the way that it sits in. And then this piece, this is the floor of the shuttle bay, will sit in here, sandwiched between the door section and the outside. Well, it will sandwich the door section between it and the outside. And it needs to try to be as flush as possible to the level. So what I would ideally like to be able to do is eliminate everything in this center section, but leave this bottom rim so I have an area for it to be flush with. And my only other option is to modify this with a little bit of the extra longer piece, which I might do. But I've got to figure out how to modify this piece, and I've got two options that I need to explore. The first option is to cut away this section. Now these clear pieces are extremely brittle, and I'm afraid that as I try to either grind away or cut away this middle section, that's going to break the part. I do have a backup because I have the second copy of this kit. But what I might try to do first is take a small mold of this part. That way I can modify it while it is still pliable. So I'm just getting set up to do that right now. And essentially what I will do is I will attach this piece to this small piece of polycore, and I will put these walls in place around, and then fill the interior with a little bit of silicone and let that cure, and that will create a nice little mold. And then I should be able to pour the resin, and while it's still sort of soft, deal with that section I want to remove. So that's what I'm going to do first, and then once I've got that mold made, I'm free to essentially destroy this piece if need be, to create the modified part that I need. But this isn't going to be quite as straightforward as I thought. Just the logistics of getting the pieces to fit in properly where they need to go is just going to be a little bit interesting. A little bit of progress to show you. What I've done is I have taken the mold of the original part and I have created a new casting, and while it was still supple, still soft, I cut out the section that I needed. I've also worked on getting this bottom ledge here down as flush as I can to the styrene floor of the shuttle bay in behind it, and it's pretty good, pretty flush. And I've had an idea that if I put a couple blue SMDs just in behind each side before I paint, that'll make the edge, if I leave the edges of the clear resin exposed, it would glow blue just as if there was an atmospheric force field in place. So I think I might attempt to do that just for that little added bit of detail. Now let me pan over to this. This is the observation window that goes just above the shuttle bay. And what I've done is I've sanded down the front of that. I've sanded all the detail off of that, the window detail. And now I've put a mask on it, the same size as the photo etch piece that will get attached to that. So it's got a coat of adhesion promoter on it at the moment, and I will light block, prime, etc., and get it ready for base color. I'm gonna have to decide on base color pretty quickly, I think, because in order for this piece to be installed, when I install the shuttle bay, it will need to have its base color on, because I can't install the photo etch piece until the base color is on there. So a little bit of progress, and R&D on this scratch build shuttle bay is coming along. So I've moved on to the decal phase on the computer, and this is what I've come up with. This is the base, well, the floor of the shuttle bay. And so we've got 3 landing pads marked ABC. You've got the denotation of the name of the ship, and there's a little elevator or lift for vehicles, so for shuttles to come up. Then we've got the back section here that goes right up against here, and you've got your cargo bay door and the kind of standard looking Federation wall type stuff. And then more of the same on the 2 sides. And I added a couple of access hatches here, a couple of the bay doors on either side, just to kind of show that you can access the shuttle bay from various locations. So I do need to make a quick change, because somebody pointed out to me on Facebook that as I was doing this late at night, I made a typo. And it's not that bad, and even if I was to print it with the typo, you actually wouldn't be able to see it, because it's really going to be way too small. But I might as well fix it and get it right. It'll look kind of, let's see how big it'll look. Yeah, about that big. So print it out, you really wouldn't see it, but we will get this done. So a couple of things to quickly show you in this quick little update. First of all, I've decided that I'm going to make a quick mold of these runabouts and a couple of these shuttles. The runabouts I really want in clear resin so that I can put a small SMD in the belly, so and then create clear transparent areas so that it looks like lights are on inside and the warp engines are on, so that it looks like the runabout is sitting on the pad ready to go. I've got a couple of these really small speedboat shuttles in 2, not because I'm going to try to do them in clear for lighting, because they are way too small to light, but the 2 that are over here, if my camera will focus, there are some casting issues with those, and they just aren't in great shape. So to get the 4 that I want, I am replacing them. Also, over here, we have the reprint of this decal, so that the a couple of things I didn't like about it the first time I created it. The typo variable was there, although it is way too small to be able to even notice that kind of misprint. But on this version, those ABC pads and the shuttle lift in the back there are now centered in the piece. So that just looks a lot better. I'm not sure how much you would actually notice looking through the shuttle bay doors, but that just satisfies my perfectionism a little bit. So on the mold, I am going to pour some silicone in there and see just kind of what we get, if I get a good cast off of that. If I do, then I'm definitely going to try to see if I can light those runabouts. Just a quick note, somebody on Facebook already asked if I'd be selling them. No, this is not my intellectual property. I did not make these. These were purchased from Federation Models, and I'm not going to resell recasted things that are somebody else's work. I am using the item I bought for my project, although I am heavily modifying it for the purposes of my project. I am not going to be reselling any recasts off of that. So little things, but a good chunk of progress to show you here. Now the shuttle bay is completely assembled and the decals are on. Now this is the second shuttle bay I've actually done, because the first shuttle bay I did after the decals went on the assembled unit, I sprayed down the walls with clear coat, and I think I accidentally got a little bit too much clear coat on, and it destroyed the decals. This time I decaled all 4 parts before I assembled, and I clear coated before I assembled, and that took care of the problem. I think this turned out pretty well. I'm going to switch over to manual. Oh, that's not focus. That's my white balance. I apologize for that. I'm going to switch over to manual focus so I can get a little bit closer and show you a little bit more of the detail, hopefully. So in the back wall here, you should be able to see. There we go. So you've got the hatch door. Now the black block to the right of the shuttle bay cargo door there is actually, if you were to zoom in on the Inkscape program, that's actually an Enterprise E Master Systems display. You just don't really get to see that on here. Also, above it, which is not going to come into focus, I'm going to reposition the camera for you so you get a better look. But it says USS Enterprise NCC 1701E there, just so that you know what that is when you go in. As we move more to the foreground, you've got one of the clear cast runabouts there. Now, this one, it's got a bit of a defective port side warp engine on the back end. So it would only be usable if I positioned it like this, where you wouldn't see the back end. But I just pulled 3 additional runabouts out of the mold. The first run I did really didn't turn out very well. Now I've got to clear out all of the flash there, but that is not too much of an issue. That's just because I have an open mold, a 1-part open mold. So they look pretty cool. These are, again, clear cast so I can light them. I'm a little intimidated to do the paint work on them just because they are so small, but we will see how that goes. So this has been quite the little project to work on, but I'm really excited to see how it all turns out in the end. I'm kind of curious as well just how much of this you're going to see through the opening into the shuttle bay. I have no idea. It's all an experiment, but I'm having fun doing it. So that's it for today's update. We got the shuttle bay built, decaled, and we got some clear runabouts made up. I'm really excited to see how those turn out. Now, I'm a little intimidated to work on the paint of something so incredibly small. I might need to pull out my microscope camera in order to pull that off. Masking of windows and warp engines and stuff, I have no idea. Probably need to scrape paint off for those and see if I can get some some of the clear paint in on those warp engines. I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but I think it's going to look really cool when that's done. So I'm looking forward to working on that a little bit more. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice in my first introduction of the video today, there was a blank spot missing on my wall, but now it is filled in. So the Enterprise D Master System Display by Captain's Dry Dock is all installed. I took the poster, got it plaque mounted so that it will last for a very long time. So if you're interested in how that was done, go check out the Captain's Dry Dock YouTube channel. You will find a link in the description below, or you can access that from my YouTube homepage on the right-hand side of the screen. That's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed this update. I've had a lot of fun with this tiny kind of sub-project. Something I've never really done before, and I like doing things I haven't done before because I learn new things. So if you've enjoyed this, make sure that you hit the like button. If you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We hit over 200 subscribers. I'm so excited. But for now, this is Andrew. This has been Canadian Starships. Have a great day, everyone.